Awesome. Thank you so much, Melissa, for the introduction. Hello, One West Tourism Alliance membership. I can see that people are still filing in, so I'm just kind of vamp for a minute while everyone's getting in to the webinar. But I'm really, really excited to be here today. Morning for us West Coast people still, and afternoon for the rest of the country. Um, but really excited to share some of this information. Let's go ahead and jump right in. For any of you who've not met me or seen me on stage yet, my name is David Reichbach. I'm the Vice President of Development for Future Partners. Future Partners is a full-service creative insights firm. We are passionate about finding winning strategies that capture hearts, minds, and market share, bringing the future of travel within reach. Similar to the last time we talked through this content, I'm going to share a quick industry update and then jump right into the One West passion. For those of you who did see some of this content last week at Tech Summit, I will be spending more time with it than the 15 minutes that we had together at the conference in person. And there will be plenty of time for question and answer and chat. So please don't hesitate to put your questions in either the Q&A or the chat. I'll see them in both places. So for my industry update, this comes from the State of the American Traveler. The State of the American Traveler is the longest running tracking survey of American traveler perceptions, motivations, and behaviors. We've been fielding a survey since 2006. We field every month, and every month we talk to over 4,000 American travelers about their perceptions, motivations, behaviors, what's scaring them right now, what's exciting them right now, and how they're planning travel. I love all the fun questions that we get to ask every month when we field this study because we always get to ask whatever's new, big, bright, and shiny. And I've got lots of data on how travelers are interacting with artificial intelligence. I'll save that for another talk, though. We always like to provide context when we jump into our monthly update. This is what was in the news, in the headlines, when American travelers were taking our survey in the most recent wave. US tariffs take effect, and Mexico, Canada, and China retaliate with their own tariffs. The first quarter is on track for negative GDP growth, the Atlanta Fed indicator says, and consumer confidence plunged in February amid rising economic concerns. Um, the interesting thing about the data that you'll see from our study is that despite extraordinary uncertainty in the world right now, traveler sentiment remains largely positive. This is due to something that we call traveler resilience. We saw this in the Great Recession, where tourism was the one industry that kept positive growth moving. We saw this during and coming out of all of the recovery from COVID, is that travel is something that is really important to Americans, to our economy. Um, and so, even in extraordinary uncertainty and honestly very scary times right now, if I'm being honest, travel sentiment amongst travelers is still largely in a positive place. Travelers still have concerns about the future. They are clearly evident in the data, and they do signal some caution ahead. But I'll show you exactly where those are so that we can talk about them in more detail. First up, and I like to start with the bad news before we get into the good side of the data. Currently, 41%, for almost 42% of American travelers agree with the statement, I expect the United States will enter an economic recession sometime in the next 6 months. If you ask most leading economists, both in and out of our industry, they will agree that a recession is absolutely coming. They've been agreeing with that statement for the last 2 years, and some of us experienced a recession in that time, some of us haven't. We're not really sure whether it will ever truly happen the way it did previously. The reason why we track this every month is that we've been seeing it trend down in terms of American travelers' confidence that a recession is not necessarily coming, is increasing as their fear or expectation of a recession decreases. But in the last month, we saw that jump up. Something that we're going to keep watching. It's not necessarily the majority of travelers, but the fact that it increased month over month is a big deal. Next, 46.2% of American travelers, when we ask them to look forward 12 months, how do you feel financially that you will be better off or worse off than you are today? 46.2% say that they will be better off in a year than they are today. That also dropped in this most recent data collection period. It doesn't necessarily mean that American travelers are not feeling confident about the future. It means that a proportion of American travelers have cautions, have fears, and are going to be looking to the tourism industry to help build that back up. Now, on the sentiment side, and this is actually a very positive story, just about 90%, 87.5% of American travelers say that when they look at the next 12 months, they are excited. They are reporting a heightened level of excitement about travel, a 6 to 10 on that 10-point scale. That's remains elevated, has been elevated since the beginning of 2023, and we're not seeing that drop in a significant way. Really, really positive sign. Currently, 36.7% of American travelers say that right now, the super short term expectation right now is a good time, a very good time to spend on leisure travel. This did have a drop right at the new year at the in January, but has since come back up to its one of its highest points in the last couple of years as of our most recent data collection period. 59.5% of American travelers say that in the relatively short term, next 3 months, travel spending will be a somewhat high or extremely high priority. Similar trend that did drop in January, but then came back up in the most recent collection period. Um, Expected budgets for the next 12 months. American travelers are currently budgeting about $5,800 for 12 months of travel. A similar trend that dropped in January and came back up in February, but it's still, even in both of those months of collection, above the 38th month average that we've seen historically in coming out of the pandemic. And currently, American travelers, they not only have heightened levels of budget, but heightened levels of actual travel expectation. They're currently reporting expecting to take 4 trips this year, and that's at its highest point in the last 3 years in terms of forward-looking travel expectation. So, despite some uncertainty in the world, travelers are largely in a very positive place. Let's look specifically at the summer because that is what's the next big travel push will be for 2025. Currently, 60% of American travelers currently have a trip planned in either June, July, or August of this year. Summer travelers expect to travel more and expect to spend more than non-summer travelers, which is an interesting difference. Summer travelers report a larger annual travel budget when they look at the next 12 months than non-summer travelers. And in terms of travel planning window, summer travelers are planning about 11 weeks out, which, if you can do the math in your head very, very quickly, has already started. The folks who are planning for summer travel likely have already started planning their trips. So if you don't have your summer messaging out already, get on that because you need to. When we look specifically at summer traveler travel priorities, and dive a little bit deeper into the summer traveler mindset, a huge portion of them, this is an open-ended question where we ask them where you want to visit. A huge portion of them are looking at the western region of the US. Las Vegas, California, Hawaii, Los Angeles, Texas, Colorado, all showing up in that kind of top part of the curve. And in terms of showing up high on this chart, because this is totally open-ended, they can write in whatever is top of mind, whatever they're thinking about. This is really strong brand recognition for the western region of the US. In terms of the specific passions or experiences that summer travelers are most looking forward to, it's food and cuisine, visiting historical sites and attractions. Number three is musical concerts. Number four, shopping. And number five, enjoying theme and amusement parks. Five and six are really close together, so I'll actually include that in the top tier, fitness, health, and wellness. We should never discount the Western US travelers' passion for wellness. Um, um, at some point, I will ask Melissa Reeves to share her wellness activities and passions because she and I absolutely share that passion. But the one that I made the joke about last week, which no one in the audience, I was very surprised, joined me on, was number three, musical concerts. Right now, the big music tour that everyone is talking about is Beyonce's Cowboy Carter tour. I'm super excited to already have a ticket to see her when that tour gets started. next month. And I raised my hand. I said, show of hands in the audience. Who else is going to be with me to see this amazing performance? No hands in the audience. And I just, this is my little soapbox moment. Um, it was Taylor Swift and Beyonce's concerts that were huge economic drivers in the last year and absolutely necessary to keep the American economy moving. It is, I think, our duty to save the industry by going to see these amazing artists perform. So don't wait. Go see your favorite artist in concert. It doesn't have to be Beyonce, but go see your favorite artist in concert. It's important for the economy. Do it for the economy. Anyway, summer travelers are looking to redeem rewards and find budget-friendly hotels and destinations. This is one of their kind of top stated priorities for their summer travel. Um, it doesn't mean that they're all budget conscious, but as anyone who's keeping up with the news knows that the economy is a little bit of a scary place, anything you can do in your destination to promote that not that it's cheap, but that your dollars will go far and get you a great experience. I think right now is the right time for that message amongst American travelers. When we specifically dive into the importance of having travel rewards programs, because we ask how important are travel rewards programs to how you generally plan leisure travel. 61% of summer travelers say that that's important or extremely important on a 7-point scale. Only 49%, only just below half of non-summer travelers, although that's not an insignificant amount as well. So now we'll switch gears from the kind of national perspective of the state of the American traveler to the One West Passion Profile, which is a profile of Western U.S. travelers. It's a subset of all of the travelers that we get to talk to, but specifically those who said they had traveled to one of the destinations represented by the One West Tourism Alliance. I do want to point out, because this was a question last week, this is the 2024 profile of Western U.S. travelers. So we took 12 months of data that we've been collecting every single month, all of calendar year 2024, and put that all together, turned it together to compare Western US travelers to the average American traveler, what we consider total US travel. Um, in the brilliance of Melissa Reeves and the One West Tourism Alliance, we will also be doing a 2025 Western US Passion profile, just like this, but to update it in a year so that we can see how things have changed over time. So look forward to that research in the future. But for now, we'll dive into the 2024 snapshot of the Western US traveler and how that compares to the average. It's important to know that it's not just Western US travelers and the total US that are included in this amazing report, but we also broke it down into 5 specific subsegments. Western US travelers who are mountain seekers, who are beachgoers, who are wine aficionados, who are city trippers, and then who are park enthusiasts, those who love the national and state parks here in the Western US. Um, each of these types of travelers is a little bit different and a little bit similar, and it's really important for you as a Western US destination out there to understand how your traveler, the people who you really are talking to, how they're a little bit different from the average, how they spend a little bit differently, behave a little bit differently, plan a little bit differently, and that's what this amazing research is supposed to empower you to do. If I didn't say it clearly, I will repeat it again. The One West Passion Profile reports were sent out to the entire membership of the One West Tourism Alliance. They are a member benefit for being part of the One West Tourism Alliance. They're absolutely meant as part of the mission of the One West Tourism Education and Research Foundation, to provide amazing, powerful, actionable research to all members. So, diving in, there is pretty good balance in terms of generation and all the demographics, honestly, on the Western region traveler. Average age of 48.2 years. Pretty well-educated group, Western region travelers. 2/3 are married, a third have children who live at home with them. Relatively higher than average annual household income, 118K. And then 48% live in suburbs, a third live in urban areas. And just so we're clear, Western US travelers don't have to live in the Western US. They just have to have traveled to the Western US. So let's look at financial outlook and travel intent. The chart on the left, the dark blue bar represents the Western US traveler, the lighter blue bar, the average American traveler for the same time period. The Western US traveler, you'll notice, is just slightly more likely than the average to say that they expect to travel more in the next 12 months than they did in the most recent 12-month period. Not a huge difference from the average American traveler, but important to note nonetheless. When we look in the table, you'll see the five different Western region subsets. And all of them show a higher likelihood to travel more even in the Western US region, Western US traveler in total. But we've highlighted in that light blue the segments where it is a really statistically significant difference. And it is really the beachgoers and the park enthusiasts who are the most excited about travel in the next 12 months. When we look at the average number of days available for travel, the Western US traveler is about a day longer than the average in terms of days that they report having available, 17.6 compared to only 16.3 for the average or total US traveler. It's actually city trippers, urban travel enthusiasts coming to the West who report the longest um, expected number of days available. In terms of number of trips, at this time period, Western US travelers reported 4.1 trips on average. We see that mountain seekers, park enthusiasts are reporting an expectation of 4.9 trips in the next 12 months. Wine aficionados, 4.7, not far behind them. For maximum expected travel budget, the Western US traveler has much larger spending power than the average American traveler, with an average of 64.54. And that's even higher for Western US travelers who are planning to or have visited cities, beaches, and of course the wine aficionados. In terms of travel barriers, this is both tied to the Western US traveler expecting higher budgets and also reporting higher levels of income. They are less likely to be deterred by travel expense than the average American traveler. They're less likely to say that travel is too expensive right now or citing personal financial reasons as a reason not that they haven't taken more trips. Um, it is still their number one travel barrier. It's just not as high as the average. And I think that's actually important as a distinction. Expenses is still a barrier for all travelers. It's just less of a barrier for ours, thankfully. So let's look at some travel behaviors and dive in. The Western US traveler is more likely than the average American traveler to have traveled for leisure and to have traveled for business, but less likely than the average to travel for visiting friends and relatives, interestingly. It is the city trippers and the wine aficionados which are most likely to travel for business. As I am a very frequent business traveler, I will let you make the joke about how much wine I'm drinking at this moment. This is coffee, just in case anyone's wondering. Um, well, no one ever laughs in webinars, but it's fine. I know it's funny. We'll move on. In terms of paid lodging, Western US travelers currently report on par with the average American traveler in terms of full service and budget and peer-to-peer lodging. But my favorite is that if you look across the segments, it is the luxury lodging type that is seeing the kind of biggest difference from the average, especially amongst mountain seekers, beachgoers, and park enthusiasts. When we look for those American travelers who have traveled to attend a sporting event specifically, Western US travelers are more likely than the average to have reported taking a trip for a sporting event, specifically more likely to have taken a trip for a professional sporting event, less likely for amateur sports, but on par for semi-professional and for non-school related amateur sports. They are more likely than the average to have traveled for a other special event that is not sport related. Specifically, mountain seekers and park enthusiasts are more likely to have traveled for special events. These include music concerts, sometimes professional sporting events, other music festivals, and of course, food and drink festivals. We really like our music festivals amongst mountain seekers, beachgoers, and park enthusiasts. In terms of media engagement or how Western US travelers are planning right now, when we ask our Western US travelers where they would be most receptive to seeing messaging about new destinations. Their top responses right now, and slightly more likely than the average US traveler, is online search, email, Facebook, other online content, and then Instagram rounding out their top five. If you look in the table, you'll see that across the bar, across segments, we have highlighted Facebook, Instagram, and then other than City Trippers, TikTok and travel podcasts. Really interesting social channels are showing a much higher degree of statistical significance for our individual subsegments for the Western US traveler. So don't skimp on your social messaging because that's clearly going to be very, very important right now. The Western US traveler is more likely than the average to have used online video specifically for travel planning. This is significantly more likely for the mountain seekers, the beachgoers, and the park enthusiasts. They're more likely to have relied on influencers when it comes to taking the advice of influencers and travel personalities and how that actually impacts travel decision making. Again, more likely for mountain seekers, beachgoers, and park enthusiasts in terms of statistical significance. And then Western US travelers are more likely than the average by a healthy margin at this point to be open to using artificial intelligence. This is not just true in the average, but true across the board in terms of our subsegments, and something that I am really, really passionate about studying. Um, American travelers report a lot of hesitancy on average when it comes to trusting any kind of artificial intelligence. Um, there is so much, I'm going to use a bad word right now, fake news out there that anything that is perceived to be generated artificially, whether it's messaging or strategy or word choice, is not only distrusted, but is seen as so inauthentic. I'm a big pro AI guy, by the way. This is not anti-AI propaganda. Um, Artificial intelligence, I think, is absolutely the way of the future. But my advice to you out there, if you are using any AI tools to help with your marketing or messaging or strategy, which I think is absolutely the right move, it's how we scale things. It's how we make things more powerful and more actionable. Um, don't forget authenticity. Don't forget to be your absolute true self in every message that you put out there, in every communication to your traveler and to your customer. More important right now than ever in just the global environment we're in. Be yourself because you are absolutely what your customers want. Um, so there. I'm ranting so much today, Melissa. Sorry, I promise. Anyway, we saw this before, but Western US travelers are more likely than the average to have listened to podcasts regularly. They are more likely to report listening to every genre of podcast that we test, except true crime. I have no excuse for Western US travelers. I'm a true crime podcast nut. I'm one of my anyway, we'll talk about that separately if any of you have questions. But it's one of the funniest differences, I think, for the Western US travelers that that's the only podcast genre they're just not as hot on as the average. But contrary to that, they are more likely than the average by a very healthy margin to look at official destination websites, official destination visitor guides, print visitor guides, official visitor guides both in digital and print format, as well as to use our visitor information centers. Um, this is especially true for the mountain seekers, beachgoers, and park enthusiasts. So if you are a mountain, beach, or park destination, absolutely know that your traveler is using your resources, is looking to you for the best, most up-to-date information. Um, so I'm gonna pause here just to see if there are any questions. And Melissa, I'm going to ask you to come on just in case I'm not seeing anything, because I currently don't see anything in the chat or the Q&A, and it might just be that I don't have permissions to see that.
I don't see them either. I think you are so efficient and have covered so much. We might not have any, David.
Okay, that's
Um,
fine too.
yeah, if we do, I'll give everybody a second if they've got anything.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure if anybody's got any issues, I enabled the chat and the Q&A prior. I checked it, so I'm pretty sure that we're good there. I think I just think there's no questions right now. You are good, sir.
Awesome. Well, if you're typing in your question now, take your time. I'm not going to rush you. All of this data and more is available in our State of the American Traveler Insights Explorer. It's an online platform which many destinations of the One West Tourism Alliance already subscribe to. So, as a subscriber, you can get access to your destination brand in a lot more detail, even than I'm able to share today. If you want more information about how to become a subscriber to the State of the American Traveler Insights Explorer, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Um, I also want to spend just a little bit of time to talk about the next One West Tourism Alliance and future partners cooperative research opportunity. This is a special opportunity for members. It is at a very special member-only price, and it is a brand health co-op. Last year, we did, and we're so proud to be um, One West Tourism Alliance, one of One West Tourism Alliance research partners on this. Um, but last year we did a member assessment where we asked all the members, what is the type of research you most want available? And brand was absolutely at the top of this list. So we put together an awesome opportunity to run brand research together as an association. That means that what is normally a very expensive piece of research to do on your own is made much more accessible as a cost-sharing co-op. This is all thanks to the One West Tourism Alliance to make this possible and to make this accessible to all the members. And you not only get the benefit of getting to learn about your brand at a really affordable price, but you also get to compare yourself to the rest of the participating destinations in the One West Tourism Alliance. This is an opportunity you absolutely don't want to miss. I know that there's going to be more press releases going out about this in the next couple of weeks, so look out for that more information soon. But I just wanted to get everyone excited about it. It's going to be such a great piece of research and definitely an opportunity we don't want to miss. The last thing I'll plug is our future partners' monthly live streams. The update that I gave at the top of this webinar is from the State of the American Traveler, and we give out as much of that data as we can for free. We do a free monthly live stream at the beginning of every month. So it doesn't cost anything to sign up, and we share whatever the top line findings are that we're seeing in the data live. If you scan the QR code on screen right now, it'll take you to our live stream calendar. I can't speak. And it's just free information. So please, if you're looking for more updates like I shared at the top of the webinar, um, please don't hesitate because we'd love to share them with you as well.
David, thank you so much for coming on and presenting. We're so excited about being able to work with future partners, you in particular, on this research. We're super excited about the brand health study. That's going to be a special one that we will be sending again in week after next. The official release will go out on that. But we're so excited to get that started. So excited to be able to present these passion profiles to the members. And again, thank you so much. We just love when you present.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Melissa. Thank you so much to the One West Tourism Alliance, especially the Education and Research Foundation. It is honestly just so heartwarming that there are still organizations out there who know how important research is, and how, especially in these crazy times, we need more information, not less, um, to make good decisions. So thank you all for your time today. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you all. We appreciate you joining us. And please check the website. We've got webinars in April and May that are posted there now. And we hope to see you on one of our future calls. Thanks so much, everyone.